Welcome to the State of the University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation Address. This is the second annual such event that we're holding during Spirit Week here at UND. Spirit Week honors and celebrates the generosity of our alumni and friends in making UND truly exceptional. The week is held in conjunction with the North Dakota Spirit, the Campaign for UND, which will direct $300 million to UND's passionate students, inspirational educators, innovative programs, and extraordinary places. Since the start of the campaign, we've been able to establish 354 new endowments, plus an additional 57 that have been pledged to us as part of their state legacy gifts. Endowments are so important as they establish a foundation of the future of the University of North Dakota. This historic campaign has brought about our need to let all of you know what the UND Alumni Association and Foundation, as the primary fundraising arm for the university, has been up to over the last year, and how North Dakota Spirit is impacting you. We have some very special people here to help me tell our story today. And I'd like to start with my friend and colleague, the Chief Financial Officer for the University of North Dakota Foundation, and I believe there's none better in the industry, Laura Block. Laura?
Thanks, Tim. Financials tell a story. They're one way of quantifying the work that we do, and the stories that come out of the results of the number really truly make the impact. Today we want to provide you with insight. We want to show you the impact. I think more than anything today you'll remember these stories. Our story starts with 8 students meeting after graduation almost 125 years ago. They wanted to stay in contact. They wanted to come back and visit their university. They wanted to keep in touch with each other. A few years later, the governor determined that North Dakota, as a state, couldn't afford a university due to the severe depression, especially as it was affecting the farming communities. The legislature only appropriated a small amount of money for the maintenance of a few buildings that made up the University of North Dakota. That, in effect, started the tradition, the loyalty, the support that has grown in and culminated with our Spirit campaign. The financials show you that we've grown through this spirit. We've expanded this culture of philanthropy that was started so long ago. Let's take a look at your handout materials. And if I could reference you to the page that says the University of North Dakota Alumni Association Foundation Report page. Probably has the most color of the two sides. Our report shows that our assets hit an all-time high at the end of fiscal year 12. So in your upper right-hand corner, your brown pie chart, your brown graph shows you that at June 30th of 2012, our fiscal year end had $246 million of assets. As of December 31st, that number is actually $291 million. So if you look at just the last 4 years and the trends of our asset growth, it's very encouraging. Our assets are made up of, if that's our total, pots that I like to think of ways that we support the university. Those pots include pledges, which are a promise to give, and they're at about $50 million currently. They're about 20% of that asset number is in pledges that will come that represent future support to the university. This $300 million includes the $50 million in future support, and more than half of that future support in pledges, payments that come over about the next 5 years, will be added to our endowment. Our endowment is shown at the bottom of the report, and you can see endowment balances at year-end. Our endowment that benefited the university at June 30th of 2012 was at $140.3 million, about 60% of our assets. Some of you are probably wondering how an endowment works. An endowment is invested, and every year it's used on campus. Currently, we use about 4% of the value of that number each year on campus. So it helps us to have donors add to that endowment. It creates that growth. and you'll see, again, on a four-year period, how that endowment's grown. But below it, under endowment growth, you'll also see that the rate of return, what we can get in investment returns, can also help our endowment growth. Our annual return for the calendar year 2012 was over 12%, but you'll see the endowment growth here depicted on a fiscal year basis. So again, to summarize, we've got $246 million we closed our last fiscal year with. About 60% of that was an endowment that gives back year after year for the donor stated purpose. 20% is in pledges. That's future support. It's in a queue. It's going to come in over the next 5 years. And another 15% is deferred gifts through charitable remainder trusts, gift annuities, unchangeable types of instruments that in the future, with passing of time, will come to the university. All those assets and the gifts that went into those categories are counted in our $300 million campaign. So you can see that what we've created through this campaign is not just current support, but also future, building, and reoccurring support. Support to UND is shown in our pie chart in the middle of your foundation report, and it continues to increase and it trends stronger. If you look at the middle, the green chart will show you the total support, and then there's a breakdown as to what went to students, facilities, educators, and the priority needs of the colleges and departments. So if you looked at this 5-year comparison, you'll see we're averaging perhaps around 12, 14 million. We're trending this year to have $15 million of support, and that trend is growing in our support to the university. When we started the campaign, that number was closer to $5 million. And for many, many years, that was the amount of support that we annually provided to the university. So you can see the effects of the campaign through the support provided. My own experience at UND, my own story through the College of Business was so rich with the caliber of professors, Ludwig Kulis, Lloyd Steinmeier, Rod Medallion, Mike Bader, all of those of whom have a named endowment here on our campus. The list goes on. I'm certain that most of you have your own meaningful list of mentors. These examples that I'm giving you are people that we don't want to forget. These are people who had so much meaning and touched our lives, and an endowment is a great gift of an enduring nature that always perpetuates that name forever. I think sometimes of my friend Mary Loyland, who gives back at UND through her gifts of teaching and her gifts of an accounting scholarship in her family name. She'll always be remembered, and someday her grandchildren will enjoy meeting the Loyland Student Scholar. Mary's been an example of philanthropy we can and should all replicate. Well, that's my story. Once upon a time, 8 graduates determined we should all connect, engage, and grow. Thousands of graduates later, philanthropy has advanced and encouraged the exceptional experiences and initiatives of the university. Many who enjoyed benefits here gave back to others in a true pay-it-forward nature. Our own campaign chair, Linda Pankratz, who gives back of her time, her talent, and her treasure, cites her own experience at UND, her own story, the impact it had for her as her impetus for being philanthropic. I don't know that the end of this story is written yet. Yes, we talked our ambitious $300 million goal, yet the impact to me of this campaign is still building for a strong future. Thank you.
Well, I imagine for those of you that are accounting and finance majors, what Laura just presented makes perfect sense. For the rest of us, perhaps they're just numbers. But what's most important inside the North Dakota Spirit Campaign are the students who are affected by these numbers. Since the beginning of the North Dakota Spirit Campaign, more than 270 new scholarship funds have been established, and almost $80 million will be directed to student support. Scholarships ensure access to a UND education for any student who wants it. With your help, students can pursue career choices that they want without overwhelming student loan debt. But I don't want you to take my word for that. Instead, I'd like to have you listen to the testimony from one of our passionate students, Adam Swigos. Adam is a junior majoring in biology and pre-medicine. He's a Bismarck native who says his family instilled in him the importance of service at a young age. Please welcome to the podium Adam Swigos.
Hello everyone, and thank you for that introduction, Tim. As Tim said, I am a pre-med student here at the University of North Dakota, and I can tell you that from today's speech we're talking a lot about value. We heard about the value of money, and now you want to know where is that money going and how is it influencing students on campus. And I can tell you that really the reason that we put so much money into education and that we're so passionate about education at the University of North Dakota is that that financial money helps us as students to find our own inner value. Everywhere you look at UND, students are excited. They're excited about their majors, their classes, they're excited about their social lives, and they really just love the University of North Dakota. I personally can say that I have loved my education. My professors, the staff, the faculty that I've interacted with, they are world class. So please, as alumni, never doubt the value that your money has here at the University of North Dakota. You are investing not only in your state and your country, but you're investing in the future. Myself and my classmates, as well as everyone who's on campus every day at the University of North Dakota. To give you an idea of why value in students is so important, I'll tell you a personal story of mine. When I came to the University of North Dakota, I wanted to study medicine, and I wanted to be able to give back to the community in ways that were bigger than myself. And so one of the first organizations that I became involved with at the University of North Dakota was the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And for those of you unfamiliar with Make-A-Wish, they go out and they help children and people with lifelong illnesses go on trips that help revitalize them in the midst of their treatment and in the midst of what can be a very difficult and tragic time. Since my involvement with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, I've helped with numerous projects, numerous campaigns, including the Walk for Wishes, and we've raised thousands of dollars just in the Grand Forks community alone. That's the value of an education. That's the value of finding your own personal self, is the fact that we can go out and give back to causes that really cause change in the world. I want to thank all of the alumni who have ever given to the University of North Dakota, because without your gifts, my education would not be possible, nor would the education of my classmates be possible. You are what make this university such a rich and fulfilling place. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart and from all the students here at the university. I thank you for letting me talk to you today, and again, please continue to support the University of North Dakota in being a leader in education and helping students find their value.
Thank you, Adam. Now you understand why I would never try and speak for a student.